Welcome to the Running Network Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
We're here at the press conference for the Marathon Oasis de Montreal with Daniel Robin, who is an Olympian. But you're not a runner, you're a wrestler. Can you tell us about your Olympic experience?
Well, of course, my Olympic experiences, because I was in 1960 the first time at the Olympics in Roma. I was 17 and I go there like that hiking, and was living in France at the time. But my experience as an Olympian was in '68 in Mexico. I won two silver medals. I mean, I did the two finals. Most of the time you say, oh, I lose the final, but I won two silver medals. That was in the two styles, in Greco-Roman and freestyle, because you have two styles in the Olympics. So I'm the unique one who are alive and still have two medals on the same Olympics in the two different styles of wrestling.
Two styles, that's really almost like two completely different events, isn't it?
Exactly, it's very different because the Greco-Roman, we say that the Greco-Roman is at the freestyle what is the classical music to the jazz, for example.
Woo! Well, now, that was 1968, and 40 years later, you were in Beijing as an Olympian. What does that mean when you go back to Beijing as an Olympian?
I was invited by the IOC. I was a distinguished guest of the IOC, and I was very proud to be there. And my experience was exceptional because I was very close to all, the people who were upgraded. Like, of course, the president of the IOC, Jacques Roguet, but I saw your president, George Bush, and his father. I saw Mr. Kissinger. I saw Mr. Putin. And I was 15 meters beside the president of China, Mr. Hu Jintao. So, it was impressive. I was at the opening and the closing ceremony. Was a very big festival, and I had the access to all the competitions in all sports. So, you can't have an experience as big as I had myself, except the people have the same accreditation as me.
So it was worth all that training.
What? Sorry?
So the Olympic experience initially in '68 and then again in Beijing was worth all that training.
It's a long way 40 years, and I make a step here in Montreal in '76 to comment for the CBC, for the CBC, the French network TV, the picture on TV for wrestling. So that's where I met the father of the Montreal Marathon, Serge Arsenault. Was at the time he was commentator for CBC, and we comment together the picture, and it was Ross Alexson and Peterson brother who became Olympic champion from the U.S. Wrestling Federation. So it's a long way, and of course always in my to say a connection with running. Always in my career as a wrestler, I was always running. Maybe sometimes was running more than the half-distance runners because I was working endurance and resistance, and so I was working aerobic, and it's passion for me to run. In France, I had friends like Michel Jazzy, was a world record man in 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters. So I was running beside them, following them, So it's running is magic. Now I'm a little bit handicapped because I have a hip who give me some trouble, but I walk. It's a good way also to keep in shape.
Well, running is a great foundation for almost any sport, isn't it?
Yes, of course. It's a basic training, running. It's one of the basic training for all the athletes all across the world. Some athletes is not convenient, like the cycling people. Can't run because the muscles are not the same who are solicited. But in all the other sports, I never heard some athlete who say, I don't like to run, who I don't run for my basic training. So I was training, cycling, skiing, and rugby player too. Just to help for wrestling.
Wow. Well, you mentioned Serge Arsenault and the Arsenault brothers who've really brought marathoning and running and cycling and a bunch of other things back to Montreal. I understand you're an adopted member of the Arsenault family that's brought relay the marathon back here to Montreal. Can you talk a little bit about Serge Arsenault and his vision for the marathon?
Of course, Serge was one of the men who created the network of the marathon in the world, with the president of the New York Marathon at the time, who died, now forgot his name, and the
Fred Leroux.
Fred Lebeau, yes, of course. I had Fred Lebeau here, and the president of the Japanese Marathon and the London Marathon. They were starting the association of marathon organizers here in Montreal. So I was one of the people who saw that, the first time. Serge was really a catalyseur, we say in French, around that. And Serge was a good promoter for marathon, a good promoter for the physical, because he did also the Mark 10 strongman's event with Louis Cyr and so on. So he's a real promoter. And Bernard, he take the street, and he's doing so well that you saw today the mayor of Montreal who give a real acknowledgement to Bernard, because all this family, they are builders, they are promoters, and I'm very proud to be adopted by this family. And by the way, I'm a godfather of Serge's daughter, and he's the godfather of my son. So we are very close, and I'm very happy to be here. I will be happy to be someday on the bridge.
Well, thank you so very much for sharing this great story with us, and we expect to see more people than ever run the Marathon Oasis de Montreal. Thank you, Daniel Robin.
Thank you very much.